Hi, my name's Doug Schneider. Welcome back to Real Hi-Fi, where today I want to talk about an ironic situation that exists if you want to listen to music master tapes. And that is, if you want to hear the true master tape, you have to listen to it digitally. So what got me thinking about this today were really two things. One was a post by Dr. Floyd Toole, one of the best-known researchers in hi-fi, who posted on Facebook about the limitations of vinyl playback in comparison to an analog master tape. Another thing was the growing niche of listening to knockoffs of master tapes. Now, what do I mean by a master tape? Basically, in the analog recording days, it is the definitive cut of an album, say. Recorded, mixed, and mastered, and one tape that is the master tape. In the more modern world of digital recording, mixing, and mastering, the master resides most often digitally. So I'm not talking about that. Insofar as what gets mastered to an analog tape format today, very little. It almost all goes to a digital format. However, you can find rare exceptions from niche labels. On the flip side, it's pretty safe to assume that recordings made up to the 1970s and into the 1980s were mastered to analog tape. However, it's not guaranteed because digital did start entering the production chain in the 1970s. Everything I've read about this AC/DC album indicates that it was all analog. However, Fleetwood Mac's Tusk, which was released the same year, was mastered to digital. Okay, so let's say your heart is set on hearing the master tape for this album or some other album. How can you hear it in the most truthful way, meaning what was originally laid to that analog tape? Well, obviously, the most truthful way would be to hear the master tape itself, but good luck with that. It's hard to say if a master tape even exists anymore, a problem in the recording industry. And two, nobody's going to let you hear the analog master tape for this or the multitude of recordings out there. The ones that are left are stored safely by the record companies. At least we hope they're being stored safely. Stuff happens. But here's the thing about analog tape. There's a fairly recent interview on video with producer Rick Rubin and musician Neil Young about an album Rubin and Young made with Crazy Horse called World Record. In this video, they describe how, although it was recorded analog, we're not talking about the master tape yet even, they immediately were transferring the analog recording to digital right away, not going back to that analog recording. Boom, in the digital world. Why would they do that? Because, as Rubin explains in that video, and you can find the link in the description section, analog playback the second time may not be the same. The tape starts changing. And they talk about the recording and the first playback being different than subsequent playbacks. So what they do, at least Rubin, and this recording and probably others he does now, is immediately transfer it to digital to preserve it. So what does this tell you? The master tape, because it's changing, and changing maybe very quickly, can't be relied upon to be the definitive source anymore. It's essentially evolving. So the real point is tape degrades, changes, whatever you want to call it. It's not reliable long-term in terms of storage and also playback. And so what then happens if you transfer analog tape to an analog medium, like another tape? Well, this is what they did throughout the 70s, into the 80s, the 90s. Maybe some are still doing it today. Analog tape, copy to analog tape. Two big problems exist. The new analog tape has the same problems of the old one. It's not reliable. But more important, a generational loss that is clearly audible happens when you go from analog to analog. And anyone who's recorded in analog has experienced it, and it's no wonder the recording industry moved to digital as fast as they could, because it is clear as day this is not as good as the original. And what about that other beloved analog format, vinyl. This isn't a diss about vinyl. People can love vinyl, but the truth is it's technically and audibly inferior to good tape. Inferior in terms of distortion, noise, channel separation, dynamic range, frequency range. As a result, when something is taken from tape to vinyl, compromises get made to put it on vinyl because of its limitations. Therefore, what's on vinyl is a representation of the master tape, but it's far from what's really on the master tape. So what is the best possible way to hear the master tape? Even if you can hear the master tape, a cut to digital. What Ruben's doing, what Mobile Fidelity got caught doing, but was the right thing to do in order to best preserve what's on that master tape. Like I said, that master tape evolves. And what you really want is the quickest cut to digital from that tape you can get, which is what Ruben describes. And why is this the best way? Well, because properly designed digital recording and playback equipment, and it's been properly designed for many years, is utterly transparent. Unlike some will claim about digital sound, digital today only has a sound if the equipment was designed to impart a sound, and most isn't. It's utterly transparent, meaning you can hear what's actually on the source. And this has been proven time and again through numerous stringent listening tests, but also probably the best test of all, that Mobile Fidelity scandal. Mobile Fidelity, if you don't know about the scandal, got caught because they didn't disclose it. Many people felt they were misleading the public, inserting a digital step into their record production process. They were taking the master tapes, transferring them to digital, and then working off that digital copy, and had been doing it for who knows how many years. But here was the thing. When they got caught, it wasn't through anybody hearing the digital. Somebody figured out this is what they must be doing in order to crack off this many records. They couldn't do it purely analog. Nobody heard the digital step. And that's really the irony of it all. To hear the most truthful representation of the master tape, if you can't be there to hear that master tape when it was first made, is to hear a digital cut of that master tape, optimally done as close to when that tape was created. Do you agree with what I had to say? I'd like to hear from you. Thank you for watching.